So you are the first guest to be a half hour early.
Is that right?
Were you on Asian people's time?
You know,
half hour early. I love it. And of course I was ready, because I'm always ready.
well, my pop said, if you can't be on time, be early.
Right.
And I think he got it from a wise man.
You ever hear of Lombardi time?
No,
Never heard that term? Vince Lombardi?
no.
You don't follow football?
I mean, I never heard of that term. I know Vince Lombardi.
Oh yeah, it's the trophy that they give away. But Lombardi time, when he was a coach, meant 15 minutes early.
Oh yeah, that's that shit. I think I heard. Was it Mike Shanahan find somebody for being on time?
Right.
You're supposed to be 5 minutes early.
Yeah.
On time is late.
Right. Well, it's a great quality to have. I always think when people are late that I know they don't mean it, but it is a passive-aggressive way, meaning or not, that you're saying my time is more valuable than yours.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Especially if it's not in, I mean, LA traffic is crazy, but if
but
it's
we
not
know
a-
that. That's what they always say, traffic. Like, oh, wow, what a new advent in Los Angeles traffic. I had never anticipated. Of course traffic is bad. You factor that in.
Yeah.
And we have it on our phones now, how bad the traffic is going to be.
Yeah, exactly. I think that causes people to be late too, because they like, look, oh damn, it's only gonna take me 32 minutes to get there. I got
Right.
time. And then they look back at it and now it's 45 minutes and they say, damn, what happened?
Some people just can't leave the house without like trying on 3 different outfits. And when I say some people, I mean women.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, they want to make sure they look good for each other.
well,
They want to make sure they don't get clowned by each other and shit.
that's part of it.
Yeah.
But it's also for us. Come on. I'll tell you a story. You'll find this amusing. Like, I did this actually in my act as a bit, but it is a true story. About 15 years ago, I had a horrible, horrible night because I ate a pot brownie and did this stuff called ephedra.
What is that?
It was legal at the time. They pulled it off the shelf. It was a natural nut from Brazil, but it was basically speed.
Damn.
Yeah, it was what they take today. Energy drinks are probably almost, but this was like supercharged. Okay, so I thought, oh, I'll take the ephedra for energy, and I'll take the pot brownie for creativity. I'll get so much work done. Of course, I was like out of my mind. I didn't know what reality was.
Yeah.
I think I was sitting there for a very long time, unable to move. My heart was racing. I finally called somebody. I literally did not know when I put the phone down if I had done that or just thought I did that. So I called, so like 20 people showed up in my living room an hour later. I must have been calling.
Damn.
And this one girl was the last one there, a girl I was kind of seeing at the time. God love her. She was like, I was coming down, there were other people there by then. It was like an hour and 20 minutes after, and I'm like, hey, what? And she said, I know, and she was all made up. It's like, even though I said, I'm dying, it's an emergency, you have to come over here. She had
she got made up. She wanted to make sure she looked good.
Better dead and you look good than early
and you come out of it.
Yeah,
say,
and you saved my life.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she had to make sure she looked good.
But,
hey, I guess everybody got their quirks. Everybody got their quirks.
Well, of course, but I mean, you've been married a long time.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So you got used to one person's quirks.
Yep. I do.
and she got used to yours.
Without a doubt.
Right.
And I got a few.
But you have lived a admirably scandal-free life, I feel, for someone as much in the public eye as you are.
Yeah, I'm a good dude. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm a good dude, you know?
Well, yeah, I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying it's kind of rare.
You know, I didn't get into this business to get in trouble. I got into this business to be creative, to do cool shit with cool people. And so I keep it all in perspective. I know it's 1,000 things I can get into that's destructive, but it's 1,000 things I can get into that's constructive. So,
right.
You know, I just choose to spend my time.
I'm just saying,
doing cool shit.
Not everybody in show business has their head on straight like that. In fact, I would say, would you not agree that the rule more is that they don't? There's something about people in show business, what draws people to show business, or the type of people who succeed. As my friend Jimmy always says, and it's the greatest quote, he said, insanity photographs.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does.
People love to.
There's a lot of the people who become the biggest stars or get the incredible followings, there is a kind of insanity in them. They're very often in their own world, especially musicians, you know, have no idea. Don't ask them who the vice president is.
Yeah, you know, they get used to people handling them.
Right.
And they get lazier, and everything comes easier, and you know, pretty soon they're just kind of being ragdolled around.
Well,
and some of them, you know, are leading the charge. You know, it was a saying by Robin Harris, you know, if I sit in first class, I want everything I'm supposed to get, you know? So it's like, some people, I'm a rock star, God damn it, I'm gonna live the rock star life. Well, I'm a rap star, I'm gonna live the life.
And the problem is that the whole world is essentially your enabler. I mean, it's one thing if you have a more normal life and you have an enabler. You can go to that one person and say, look, you're not helping this guy at all by doing these things that are enabling him in his addictions, including to pigging out on fame and money and the privilege that is afforded to people who everyone else idolizes. But you can say it to one person, you can't say it to a fan base. You can't say to all these people, hey, you're not doing this guy any favors by remaining they're gonna be his fans. Nowadays, fans are like stans, right?
Yeah.
They're beyond fans.
Yeah.
They get literally violent sometimes. If you...
I mean, could you imagine going against the Beehive?
Right.
You know, like, come on now. You want to get stung 1,000 times a day? You know, so, yeah, you know, people, you know, you can create your own little kingdom, you know, in your own little head. In your own little, you know, so it happens, but you have to work for it not to happen. You know, you have to be conscious.
You gotta
be conscious.
That's the line.
And
you have to work for it not to happen.
Yes. You know, I looked in the mirror when I was a teenager still. You know, I had 1 or 2 cool songs that were starting to bubble. And I looked in the mirror and I said, I still want to be myself. You know, don't lose that guy you looking at in that mirror. And every so often I make sure I take that long look and make sure that I still recognize the guy that's looking back.
Well, that guy publicly, if I had to associate him with one physical attribute, it would be scowling.
Yeah, that comes natural. Like, that's just how my face looks.
No, but you're often, you're funny in your movies, especially when you're impatiently frustrated with people around you who are doing stupid shit. That's a great character.
Without a doubt, because I think that's how a lot of us, I mean, that's how a lot of us feel, you know? Yes. It's like we're frustrated at the stupidity that we find ourselves in.
Yes.
And that the clear road sometimes seem so clear, but it seems like nobody wants to take it. You know, like nobody wants to take that clear path. They kind of want to, they want it funky. They want to kind of thrive off and feed off their emotions, and let that.
You mean bad emotions?
Well, any emotion, like some guys,
Well,
like to be pissed off and yell and be,
yes.
On 10 because they feel something. If they're not on 10, they feel unheard, inadequate, and it's not a space where they can actually be heard. So, they like to turn it up. And
did you watch Succession?
No.
Never saw that one?
No.
You heard about it?
No.
Come on.
No.
The HBO show Succession?
I mean, I know about it.
Oh.
I mean, nobody comes and say, hey, man, since Succession was great last night.
You love it. Nobody does?
Nah.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. Maybe they don't think I'm into stuff like that.
You would love this fucking show. You're a mogul. It's about a mogul.
Mm.
I bring it up because, apropos to your point, it's a Ramona Clay really of the Murdoch family, Fox News.
Yeah.
So he's old like Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah.
He's got kids, and Succession. It's like who's going to succeed him because the old man is going to go.
Yeah, he's going to go sooner or later.
Soon. So in the thing, he almost dies in the beginning. He dies at the end. It's about the succession and the kids fighting each other. You would fucking love it.
Yeah. I definitely got to binge watch that.
But the point is that this patriarch, this mogul, Logan Roy, he's, a billionaire. They shoot it at the greatest locations. We see his yacht, his castle, blah, 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 his country home. He's got everything you could ever want.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just endlessly pissed off. And he's just always, are we going to circle for another hour up here? He's mad that his private plane can't land because there's other planes land, And you can be that person where you get 99% of what you could ever dream of, and you obsess on the 1% you don't have.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be that guy.
Not at all. Like, come on. Like, you don't want to be rich and die trying. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? It's like, dude, know when you are full. Like, know when to push the plate away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, know when to cruise, man.
You could put that in a song.
Yeah.
Know when to push the plate away?
Know when to push the plate away.
That's a good title or a good line, right?
Know when to cruise, man. Like, nobody would ever ride a bike if you had to pedal the whole time. You were
always a clever lyricist.
Thank you.
That song, I always loved that song you did about It's a Good Day. It was a good day.
Today was a good day.
Because it was a very interesting way, unique to here's the way I can comment on the bad things, which I really want to comment on, by saying, this is what didn't happen today.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's new.
I mean, it's to me, it's what Friday is all about. Like, if the movie Friday is a drama, it's Boys in the Hood. Mm. You know what I mean? Without a doubt.
Sure.
But taking those situations and trying to laugh at ourselves and hopefully we see ourselves clearer.
Well, that's a fun
is to me, why the movie hits.
I also love the Wayans movie, which is it the one with the long title?
Don't be a menace in South Central while drinking your gin and juice.
Keenan is the mailman and he keeps going, message!
Message, yeah. It's one of the funniest Wayans movies ever.
Well, also, but it's somewhat cathartic to be able to see them say things which I feel are truisms that I can't say.
Well, that's what it's all about in a way. I think when it's kind of like, I could talk about my brother, but don't you talk about my brother?
Yeah, of course.
And I would rather hear the brother talk about the brother more than me anyway, because he know him a little better than me. He's gonna really get in there. So I think people accept it when it comes from their own, and
But
it's hard to hear when it's from somebody else.
also, we live in an age of bad faith. And when I say bad faith, I mean people don't argue or make points generally about what they really believe or they really think will help things along. They do it on what can I get you on? We live in Wokistan.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like you sparring.
like you
of
sparring,
learning,
yes.
Instead of learning from each other.
Correct.
Which is what it's all about.
But also, I can get you on something. Like, such a mean girl's attitude. You know, they're like, you didn't get the memo that we don't say Latino anymore. We say Latinx. Yeah, you say it. You know who doesn't say it? Latinos.
Yeah,
They fucking hate it. But it's like, no, we can change the rules, and then the people who haven't caught on, we'll get them. It's you know, we think it's fetch. Latinx.
Nah.
No.
You know, it's weird how the name's always changing every like 20 or 30 years. Somebody wants to put a new label on the same thing.
You mean ethnic names?
Yeah. You know,
right.
It seems like, you know, you go from this to that and the other.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day. And,
people of color used to be,
you know,
reversed 50 years ago.
Yeah, and it's just done to really keep us bickering and, you know, chasing these words.
Okay, so
and not really getting to the root of the issues, which are most of the time very common if we really go down to the root of it.
Could not agree more.
Yeah.
But you said it's being done to divide us. Okay, by who? Who's doing it?
Well, who benefits and profits off our bickering and our division? You know, It's like follow the money. I don't know their names, Bill, but if you follow the money, you go high enough, you start to see, okay, you know, this is an industry. Okay, let's take rap music.
Let's take it.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons. So,
literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. So, you know, it seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say that word, that, you know, the records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Certain flavors are exposed on the record. You know, some records are made by committee. Meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're gonna have this guy write the lyrics. We're gonna have that. So the narrative is really kind of, you know, structured and really made into what the record company want the record to be, and what you know, a lot of artists are frustrated with this kind of music making. You know, a lot of people, you know, feel like they're being controlled by the label. This is how they do it. Telling you what songs to sing, what hooks to do, what songs, you know, you can do your song, that's fine. That's an album cut. But the single is what we all say is the single. So you have, you know, the record company pushing the narrative, you know, and you know, so this to me is in somewhat, you know, some social engineering going on here to make sure those prisons stay full. Now, there's a lot of dots to connect to make that happen. But I'm just giving you a broad example of how people at the top can manipulate what's going on with the people who are bickering and fighting. I just gave you a music example, but there's examples of race.
Can I cross-examine this theory?
Of course you can cross-examine, of course. Of
no,
course.
I know, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if your theory is that the prison industrial complex, and I agree, that's an abomination. We'll start off with there. Prison I've done editorials on this on my show. Prison is one of those things that should not be in private hands.
Yes.
Along with healthcare, a few other things that are like, the good part of socialism. They should not be run by people for profit. I agree with that.
Yes.
I did not know about this connection to the music industry, that it's the exact same people. If by that you mean that the people who run the record companies may have stock in prisons, private prisons, that's possible because they all have stock. I mean, do they actually like Monday, Tuesday go to work as a record company executive and Wednesday through Friday go to work at the prisons? No.
Okay,
so
of course they're not actually running the labels.
They have
things.
financial interest in it.
They have financial interest.
Okay, so if they have financial interest in the prisons, and your theory, if I'm following correctly, is that the kind of stuff in rap lyrics works as a funnel to get people inspired to do the kind of things that would get them in prison, right? Like, for example, writing a lyric, "fuck the police."
Yeah, I mean, writing a lyric, "fuck the police,"
might get somebody arrested and sent to prison.
That might get somebody arrested and sent to prison. That's just one example, one record that the record company did not manipulate. That's pure artistry.
Right.
But I've seen labels. I've
Did they
worked with artists.
Did they manipulate you?
No. I'm an independent artist. Always have been. I started off on independent labels.
So how were you able to avoid this trap that so many others fell in? What did you do right?
I wouldn't let an A&R asshole in my studio. Like, you're not fucking coming in here telling me how to make a record.
Right.
I'm gonna come from the heart. I'm gonna do what I feel. So I never allowed an A&R I never had anybody A&R me but Dr. Dre, So
that's pretty.
I just wasn't ever going for it. And they just kind of like let me alone do my thing. And I was on the independent label like Priority. I wasn't on a major. And majors, they do it with singers. They do it with rappers. They have a lot to say in what's the finished product.
Isn't it always the case anywhere in show business, but okay, let's just talk music, where the people who are the most talented and are making money, therefore, for the label, of course you get to, of course you get to make your own rules, because it's always about, if you're making money for me, you can get away with anything. Roseanne once sang the national anthem in front of some stadium before like the Super Bowl or some big game, World Series or something, and like butchered it almost on purpose. It was like, you can imagine what America made of fucking with their precious anthem. They went apeshit. But her show was #1 on ABC, so they kept her. Later on, she did something bad and they got rid of her. Times had changed. But my point is, like, when you're making people money, they're going to leave you alone. It's the people who can't afford to tell them to fuck off.
I don't know about that.
Really?
I think the more money you make, the more money that you're making for a label, more than likely, the more money you're costing to produce the records, to do all that. They have so much invested that they're gonna micromanage even more. Like, the biggest artists got labels in their ass all the time to keep it going, to keep the cash cow rolling.
Right.
You have, of course, rogue artists that do their own thing, but usually the label kind of backs off of them and goes with the artist. They can really.
Where do you record? You must be at your home.
Yeah, right? I got a spot in Burbank behind Burbank Airport, and then when COVID came around, I had to put a studio in my house, so to still be able to get down.
Why didn't you? And that's usually what people on your level do, isn't it? Why?
I don't want fucking bass players and fucking singers coming in my house and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah,
these
that's
motherfuckers
right.
all in my house.
Yeah, those.
I'd rather go to the studio. They can hang out, smoke weed, and do the shit they do, and I don't have to worry about them fucking up my carpet or waking up my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I get it.
Yeah,
right.
Always having to pee or some shit. You know, it's like I gotta watch them and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's my personal shit up there. I don't want to have to watch no damn guitar player.
How often do you go into the studio?
When I feel it, you know, it's a straight off the gut feeling thing. You know, it's really about inspiration. You know, I don't make records now for the radio. I don't make records to get a fucking Grammy and no shit like that.
Right.
I make records for my clientele, for Ice Cube fans.
Right.
People who love to hear me rap.
Right.
That's what I make records for.
Right.
You know, everybody else can get it how they live it. You know what I mean? So all I care about is making Ice Cube fans happy with the music. You know, everybody else can kind of get in where they fit in.
I feel the same way about my fans. Like everything I do, I mean, I guess past the normal age for retirement even. I'm over 65, so, but, you know.
Retire and do what?
Exactly. Oh, no, it hasn't even crossed my mind. But I'm just saying, I don't need to work anymore. You know, and neither do you. You know, and I feel like that is what you said is how I feel also. I do what I do for the people who have already pretty much established that, yes, they're on my wavelength, they have open minds, they want some place and somebody on television and in concerts around the country, but mostly on television or here, but television is much more political, who will like have a real discussion with people.
Yeah.
And I do it for them. And they're a dwindling mob, by the way.
Wow. And you know,
people
it seems like
so partisan.
I mean, the world needs that. The world needs straight shooters.
Yes.
Who are not worried about just being safe and, you know, we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings or we don't want to offend nobody or, you know, it gets kind of.
But also not in a bubble already.
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck with the bubble people. I mean, for years, I made fun of the Fox News bubble because it was sort of the only bubble. And then I feel like the left, they actually built a bubble of their own.
It's weird. It's weird, you know. And I think, you know, at a certain point, it's like you jumping on a team. You know, it's like team
all
sport.
About team.
Yeah.
It's only about team. Nobody looks at anything through the lens of what is the actual truth. It's like, does my team get behind this? And the media is the problem because the media, especially like the people like MSNBC and Fox News, every story is, okay, how can we tell this story in a way that, okay, maybe it doesn't lie, but we could leave some shit out.
Yeah.
It depends on what we accent. Let's accent the stuff that we know our audience is gonna love. That's gonna make those hamsters hit the wheel and say, give me more of that crack. That's what the media does.
And like, how long can you binge watch your own, you know, kind of like
endlessly.
Yeah, it's like
for lots of these people is the answer.
Yeah,
endlessly. They have it on all day. I know people who have MSNBC on all day, and they hear the same people, and I like all those people, and they're smart people, and most of my politics align with them even, but I can't do it. I can't. I don't want to hear any story where I go, okay, I'm not doubting what you're telling me, but I know there's things you're not telling me.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah, it becomes like a shtick. You know, it becomes
exactly
like
shtick.
A shtick, you know, like you know, we do it this way over here. You know what I mean? I saw this, you know, I'm flipping through TikTok. I saw this little, I guess it was a movie. And the lady was, she was coming to take the order, and she was like, "What you don't want?" And the guy was like, "What? What you don't want?" Because we only serve, you know, we serve meat and taters or meat and rice. So what you don't want? You either don't want the taters or you don't want the rice. So it's just like, this is all we got. Don't ask for shit else.
Right.
This is what we serving. You know, we just dropping transmissions. You know, don't ask for a paint job here.
This, yeah. Only bulbs, you know, there's stores like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
Do you sell shade? The sign says only bulbs.
Don't come
They
in here,
must have people all day long. But, yeah, I mean, this is a country, I would say, where everyone wants to order off the menu.
Yeah.
Everyone sees himself as an order off the menu person, which I guess, you know, the truth is, for all the shit that you hear about this country, and there is a lot of shit and a lot of problems, we actually are kind of now, compared to the rest of the world, kind of kicking ass. I mean, we came out of the pandemic economically better than any other country, and almost did worse in it because we have so much obesity, and that's basically what took people down while we had such bad numbers. You know,
but how do people feel? Do people feel that way? Do people feel out of the pandemic, we all feel a lot better? It seemed like people feel like they're almost at their wits' end.
Yeah, but again, I hear this, and I know what it is, and I'm not denying there's a lot of it out there. There always is. This is human life. It's not a picnic for a lot of people. I know parts of my life that were just horrible, you know, so I get it. But when I drive around, I don't see like a country that's falling apart. You know, Trump is out there, it's dying. It's dying. It's not dying. Not maybe I'm going to just the greatest place, but I know I drive all around. I'm in different cities touring. You know, I see a lot of life and restaurants and people, and they're not like unhappy, and money is being spent. Unemployment is super low. Inflation is a bad thing. That's like a real thing that they did by spending way too much fucking money that they didn't have to spend on the pandemic.
Yeah, I know people. Look, I'm in the entertainment business, so I know people that's doing good, but I know people that's struggling.
Of course.
You know, people that go to the grocery store and see, you know, $35 eggs and shit, and like, what the hell's going on? You know, so I think, you know, the country.
But what's the solution?
Needs an enema. You know, real bad. You know, it's a lot of full of shit stuff.
Oh, so much shit
that needs to just be drained out of there.
But a lot of it is bipartisan shit. Like, what I mean by that is like, the debt is gonna kill us, but both of them do it. Both of them, as soon as they get in office, they spend more than they have. A lot of it is the scam artists that run this country. Like California, I just read, finally gave up on their, they were gonna build a high-speed rail.
Yeah.
It started in 2008.
Yeah.
15 years later, just could not get it done because the amount of fucking pigs at the trough who all needed to wet their beak and take some shit out of that, the people, the consultants and the lawyers and all these middlemen who weren't actually building the fucking railroad. It became so expensive, like $200 million a mile to build this thing, that they just finally gave up after they spent like $180 billion to build a train, a railroad that is not happening. That's the kind of shit that, when you say enema, that's what I think of.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, it's unfathomable that you could waste that much money.
Because I feel like
on a bunch of nothing.
As much as they throw money at problems like people who are struggling, yes, there is terrible income inequality in this country, but it's still the rich who pay the most taxes. You pay a lot of taxes, I bet.
Pay a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
More than I like to.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like more of that is going to change anything.
No, because, we pay the taxes, but we don't have a say in where they go,
But a lot goes to the programs you think perhaps would do better with more money.
Well, it's probably,
like
a bunch of, people at the top. Like you said, a bunch of people, a lot of lawyers. I think this country is over litigated. It's too many lawyers, too many frivolous lawsuits, too many coward judges who won't throw that shit out. Well, we haven't set a precedent, or I don't want to be the one to kick that out. Let the appeals court do it. And it's like, you're supposed to be here for common sense, and you're just basically a clerk. So it's just.
I mean, that's true.
It's it's like I love Vegas, but no matter how many lights they put up, it's still about gambling and, walking out of there poorer than you walked in is the game. You know what I mean? No matter how you, no matter how pretty you make it,
right.
It's all about, they want you to leave,
separated from your money.
You can play and have fun and play the little game, but basically they want your money. They don't want you to win. If you win too much, they'll escort you out.
I just played Vegas last weekend. I love Vegas because when I'm in Vegas, I feel like I could truly be myself. A prostitute with a gambling problem. No.
Hey,
but there is something.
Gotta find his favorite pond, I guess.
But there is something about being in a town that is the one thing in America that's there and made for adults as opposed to children.
Yeah.
Everything else is for fucking children. And I, as someone who's never had children, obviously I feel I'm a little bit of a fish out of water. But when Vegas tried to be like for the whole family in the 90s, they failed because it's not that. When they reinvented themselves with the slogan, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I mean, you can't get closer to saying, we're not going to talk about the girl you brought home from the spearmint rhino.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
And leave your little kids at home.
Right. And leave the kids at home.
Right.
I don't see hardly any kids anymore when I go to Vegas. You just don't see it. I wonder if they're banned. I'm joking.
I mean, a lot of people is like FTK, man. Fuck them kids.
Right.
But
I mean, I only know your one kid who's a fantastic actor.
Oh yeah, O'Shea Jr.
And made a great little place for himself. Now.
Yeah. I mean, I love my kids. Like,
I'm sure,
they're amazing. They're good people, and at the end of the day, that's all you want to contribute. You want to contribute good people who are not trying to scam somebody, not trying to beat somebody, who's not trying to get over. They're not into the drug, the drinking, the gang banging, the bullshit. They're not into that.
And all your kids are like that.
All of them,
That's great.
They're not womanizers or nothing like that, like you. But what I'm saying is they not bringing a bunch of babies home,
right?
And all that kind of crazy shit. And they not wild. Like, they not taking advantage. Like they could be, like some kids would be, like I would probably be, like if my father was Ice Cube.
No,
everybody around here would know this fucking little Cube. He keeps coming around here, fucking, wanting his way all the fucking time. You know what I mean? Like, so.
No, you obviously did it right. I mean, that's not coincidence. When kids come out good, look, somebody once said, who has children has given hostages to fortune. It's true. Bad shit can happen to good people. But in general, when the parents do it right, the kids come out good.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I've seen some great parents with some crazy ass
No, it can
kids, you
happen.
know, like, you know.
But you don't know how they parented when you weren't there.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
In general,
Yeah.
I really feel like, and a kid doesn't absolutely even need two. Two is better.
Mhm.
They just need one person who's going to always be there, and will, no matter what you do, if their kid is mad at the world, I'm still going to stay. You can throw rocks at my head, I'll be there tomorrow. And don't give in to their bullshit.
Yeah, that's my wife, Kim.
Don't want to be their friend.
Yeah.
You can be their friend when they're grown up and they're made, when the clay has been molded, but not before. That's what today's parents fuck up with. They want to be their kid's friend.
Or they're just
not your job.
Or they're totally scared of their kids. They don't want to say shit to them.
I do a bit about that, Mike.
You know what I mean? Like they don't want to say nothing to them. They don't want to they don't want their kid.
Their
they're
lip
like
is practically
scared.
Trembling.
Yes.
When they're ready to go. Yeah. Ready to go.
It's
I know.
It's the wildest sight, you know. I think you got to be firm but fair, and you got to be the parent. You can't fall apart one day, like, you know, and just throw a tantrum and shit, and you know, be a kid. Like, you can't. You got to hold it together. And so, you know, you're an example. You know, they're gonna watch you.
I feel like the Black community has a lot of, like, on both ends of the spectrum, like parents who didn't do the job at all, and a lot of kids raised by grandparents, and then lots of parents who are like so much better than the white parents because they don't take bullshit and they just do it the way we used to do it, the right way. I had a, you know, you'll hate me for this, but a girlfriend years ago, and she said to me, the difference between me and my white friends is when I fuck up, like in the supermarket, the white friends, when we get home, my mother right then and there.
Right there. Yeah, you know.
And that's how you do it, right there in the cereal aisle.
I mean, you know, you gotta nip it in the bud. You know what I mean? You really do. And
but he was great in Ingrid Goes West.
Yeah. I mean,
I bet you a lot of people have not seen that movie. Maybe now that Aubrey Plaza is such a big star, who I always was a huge fan of. Every time I was in a hotel room, I'm on the road. Usually, you know, where I watch my movies, like in the hotel when they have the first run movies. Yeah. And this chick was always in some awesome indie movie I never heard of, and I'm happy for her. But that was such a great movie. Yeah. She's awesome. He's awesome. Such a great comment. It was about social media and this chick who like gets sucked into, you know, it's such a great comment on the kids today who like live more in a virtual world than a real world.
Yeah. It's well, you know, he picks great films to do. You know,
that's the key to it.
Yeah, I grew up, I mean, you know, coming up through it, I did a lot of hood movies, but he's, you know, he wants to, you know, go outside the box. So, you know, I'm really proud of his decision making. He's in Spain right now, you know, and he's working on Den of Thieves 2.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's very cool to see him, you know, take the baton and run with it.
Yeah.
And not
fuck it up.
You know, not fuck it up and not
give credit to a Nepo baby.
Without a doubt. I tell him, I say, man, you second generation Hollywood man, go in there and act like it.
Right.
Don't go in there and act like you some starving artist and shit. No, let them know, hey.
I did a thing on Nepo babies before the strike shut us down. And I was saying, first of all, I don't begrudge them. They're very often great because very often the gene is in the family, you know, and often you're around it. And so it comes second nature and you absorb it from your talented forebearer, you know, that's all good. Just don't say, you know, I had it harder. No, you didn't have it harder. No. You actually had it a little easier because it's always a good story to have somebody who is, you know, or, you know, hey, I just got my foot in the door. Well, a lot of show business is getting your foot in the door. So, okay, but there's still, people are very talented. What I was saying was show business, Nepo babies, politics, Nepo babies. The one place that has no Nepo babies is sports, which is why I trust it more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like you can be the son of a player, but you're not there because you're the son of a player. Doc Rivers' kid is good enough to be in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's not because his father's Doc Rivers.
Not at all.
So sports is the only thing I trust 100%. Whereas I know the 450 people in the NBA are the best they can find in the world. And they do go all over the world.
And they're looking every day.
Yeah, I'll bet they are.
They're fucking looking
Of
every
course.
day. You know, it's not like, oh, we got our team. We don't have to.
Right.
You know, so they're always looking to improve.
Hey, what a perfect segue. And I never had one in this show before because I don't do segues because I'm too stoned. But that segue hit me in the head. You have a basketball league.
Yes, the big three.
Look at me, just like a real talk show
man,
host here.
Ain't that something? Got a future in this, man.
Tell me about your basketball league, Ice Cube. I hear it's exciting and the new thing in basketball.
Without a doubt. You know, it's the big three. Professional 3-on-3.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of like 3-on-3 has been the step cousin of 5-on-5 forever.
It's what, when I heard about your league, I said, this is how I play. This is what I do.
Yes.
Half court, 3-on-3, all the rules.
So we just did that and just made, you know, kind of elevated to the professional level, added some wrinkles that the NBA can't do, you know, like a 4-point. We got 4-point circles out there. So if you shoot 30 feet from the basket, man, you deserve an extra point. And
so, as the imprimatur of this great new league, who knows this better than anybody, and you are the authority, can I bring to you an argument that I have with a basketball player, friend of mine named Woody Harrelson?
No problem.
We play here all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my contention. You're playing half court.
Yes.
A guy shoots an air ball.
Yes.
I say that still has to go back court because you're trying to simulate exactly what would happen with a full court. In a full court, if a guy shoots an air ball, you don't suddenly change baskets. But Woody Harrelson and many other people say, no, in half court, if a guy shoots an air ball and you get the rebound and you're on the other team, you can go right up and score.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of a turnover fast break dunk. You know, a guy shoots an air ball and doesn't hit the rim.
So you're with Woody on this?
Yes, that's how we play in the big three.
Why did I stumble into that?
A guy, you know, don't hit the rim. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Like, we can have little babies out here that don't hit the rim. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got to hit the rim if if it's a serious shot.
Excuse me, but the pros sometimes shoot air balls.
Okay, and it's a turnover.
And miss layups and miss dunks.
Yeah. You know, and so how should a turnover be dealt with? You're coming, you're driving in, a guy pokes it right to the guy right up under the basket from the defensive team. He should be able to lay that up because it's a turnover. He should get an easy basket because they turned you over.
I feel like this is poor logic. The point of half court is, okay, if you picture the court, the full court, we don't want to waste all that time going through the middle part of the court. We want to get to where the action is, which is within 30 feet of the basket. So instead of going all the way back each time, back and forth, we take the ball back court. And then we play at the same basket. By that logic, anything that would happen that would cause you to go to the other end of the court has to go to backcourt. It's just a shorter trip.
I understand that in logic.
Oh no, I'm gonna get the scowling guy who's frustrated and
just
mad.
just like you have boxing and you have MMA. Okay, MMA is in a cage. Boxing is in a squared circle.
Octagon.
Yeah.
No?
The octagon.
Yeah.
I mean, MMA is in the octagon, but it's a cage octagon.
Right.
Okay, and then you got the square circle. You got boxing gloves, you got little mitts. Even though it's fighting, even though it's pretty much the same, there's still adjustments, there's still things that make MMA exciting there's things that keep boxing exciting. That's all their own. So, the whole thing about like, okay, this is how they do it in full court. We're creating a whole new game here. 3-on-3 is a whole different game than 5-on-5 because it's a lot more personal. In 5-on-5, you can be a specialist. You can just be a defensive guy, or a rebounder, or a 3-point guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not in 3-on-3.
Right.
You gotta pass, shoot, defend, and score. Pass, shoot, defend, and score, rebound. You gotta do it all, or you'll be exposed and really embarrassed. So
because I've played many games where one guy is lame.
Yeah.
On 3. and it does throw off the balance. I mean,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
So
I have been that guy a few times.
Hey, it happens.
It's not a good feeling.
It's not. You look up and you're like, damn, everybody's better than me.
Right. Or you're just having a bad day. Normally you're not the worst, but for some reason.
Yeah.
Even the pros have 2 for 18 nights.
Yeah. It's funny how that happens.
Well, it's fun. What's funny to me about basketball is 2 things. If I had never seen a guy shoot a basketball from 25 feet away or even 20 feet away, if I'd never seen that in my life, I would think the chances of getting that ball into that hoop are 1 in 1,000. It just,
yeah.
And yet when you do it, it's I mean, the pros, when they're not guarded, it's like 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's insane.
And when they are guarded, it's half if they're good.
Yeah.
But even on any given night, I mean, it's such a small margin of error. I don't know why some days I feel fine. I'm not drunk. I've played drunk. I played better drunk. But for whatever reason, the same shots just are off by 2 inches, and that's enough to just give you that bad night.
That's what make us amateurs. You know what I mean? That's what make us
amateurs. But even
the
pros do it.
Yeah, the pros do it.
Very few pros, like LeBron James is one of the very few, you just never see 2 for 18.
Yeah.
You never see it.
Yeah.
He's never
efficient.
bad. He's efficient, and he's just never bad. It's never like, one of those nights.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, very few are like that.
That's why he's the king.
Yeah.
That's why he's the
Why, you're saying he's the best ever?
No, I don't know about that.
He's the king, but I'm not saying he's the...
Yeah.
Well, they play... It's so hard to... When people have those sports arguments about who was better, Babe Ruth, it's like they played in such different times with such different circumstances against different people.
Yeah. I mean,
the Jordan era was so much more physical. There was a lot...
It was rough.
It was rough. Where same in football, they used to not protect the quarterback at all.
Not at all. It used to be. I mean, what happened to Joe Montana is just criminal. I mean, that hit he took to put him out for 2 years.
I don't even remember that, but I do remember. I remember the Lawrence Taylor against Joe Theismann. That leg.
Yeah,
I could still see it. It's
too.
One of the grossest things.
I thought I would never see anything like that in football.
Oh,
it's like that can happen. It's like, yeah, that can happen.
No, so they definitely play a game now that I find frustrating to watch, and a lot of people do it. Too much flopping. A lot of it is. It's almost like it's half basketball, half ballet. You've got all these moves that they do that are sort of like automatic, standing there to get the charge. It's like, it's not natural. That's not how you really would play defense. It's like we're merging this into some sort of kabuki theater.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're more, they play 82 games. That's a hell of a lot of basketball games. And I think they're really worrying about a guy. Instead of getting a guy who goes all out and gives you 6 years of all out, they want 10, 12 years out you. So they want you to last a little longer. They don't want you to take the hits. They don't want it to be as physical. They want, guys kind of getting out of the way. Yeah, everybody, that's why in the big three, we don't play that shit. You know, it's like back to old school, physical, hand checking, come in the lane, and it's nothing nice. And you know, that's how we grew up playing. Guys can trash talk. They won't get a fucking tech and thrown out, so you can be yourself. We got these robots playing.
You have depussified basketball.
Yes. I definitely, you know, put the, you know, what we loved about the game, that it wasn't an easy bucket, that nobody was going to get out your way. You're going to have to earn it. Real defense. And, you know, I took out the game clock, so it's 1st to 50 win.
Just like the backyard.
And we have a shot clock, so 14 seconds to get it up, so you can't sit there and talk and dribble, but it's fast paced, and guys love to play. You know, guys love to play. The NBA hates us. You know, they think, you know.
Why? Because you're competition? Because you're showing them up?
Well, they don't like us changing basketball without asking them for permission. We didn't go and say, please, Adam Silver, please, can we put a 4-point circle in our game? Can we please, you know, do innovative things that you guys are too slow to do?
There are always in sports, there have been competing leagues, and usually they get absorbed. Now, this couldn't happen with you because you're playing a completely different game.
I mean, you know, they can actually work with us and not against us. You know,
they work with
together.
They work with the WNBA.
They work with the WNBA. They work with, you know, they have the G League. They also work with this TBT, the basketball league. You know, so
and it actually is beneficial to them because a lot of the people in your league are recently retired NBA stars. So the fans have an affection for the recently retired. They followed them their whole career. Okay, we get it. It's time you go out to pasture. You know, it's not a longevity thing, sports. But we still like to see them. In the past, where did they go? The broadcast booth. But, you know, they still can play. They just
These guys can play. They just can't play 82 games.
And they just can't play against guys who are 22.
They actually can. They just can't play 82 games against guys that's 22.
But you know what? Nobody plays 82 games because they have these nights where you go to the Broadway play and and it says there's a little thing, a sticker in the playbill that says the part of Hamlet tonight will not be played by the guy you came to see, but you know, Joe Schmagegi. And that sucks. And that happens in the NBA. I mean, they rest players deliberately, like they're not hurt. It's just like
82 games is too many, even if you're young.
What?
Even the young players take the time off. So 82 games is too many. In our league, they play 10 games once a week, half court to 50, go all out. We don't just have retired players. We have, you know, young players, 27-year-olds. You know, we go as young as 22. And guys, in that setting, it's a whole different game. So we've had guys come from the NBA into the Big Three and not do good. And we had guys in the Big Three, never made it to the NBA, you know, win the championship. So it's its own sport. And that's probably why they don't dig it, you know. But we've been here for, you know, this 6 years, and they can't stop it.
It takes a while for something new to catch on. People are not great fans of new.
Nah, I mean, you know, it's like they want to see if you can make it work. You know, a lot of people just kind of want to watch and see if this is something I can get behind. Is it going to be here every year? You know, a lot of, you know, unfortunately, we had to go through COVID. And other new leagues came and went, you know, like AAF league, XFL came and it went, and it came back with The Rock, USFL. You got all these different leagues that's kind of around, You know, now they got pickleball and
Right.
you know, so you have to fight through all that noise and let them know, no, we're here to stay. You know, we're not going anywhere, and you know, we're gonna be the fastest league to profit in pro sports league history.
No, I think as a midlife crisis project, it ranks at the top because people do some crazy things when they get to be like, you know, late 40s, 50, and like, okay, the things had worked out, and then they just, okay, I think what I need to do is build a rocket ship, go to space, or
you gotta stay creative. You know, being creative is why I got into the business. I didn't think I was gonna make a quarter doing rap music. You know, we was just doing it for fun. You know, to be cool, to you know, be clever, and to be a part of a new wave of music that everybody, you know, older than us was really shunning.
How do you feel about the police now? Things have changed.
Like I've always felt about them. You know,
You don't think they've changed at all?
In what ways, you know? I think they
never used to arrest their own and put them on trial and put them in jail. That's one major thing.
Yes, I
also
think the people push that change. You know, I don't think.
Yeah, but
I don't think the police
are people.
Internally.
Police are people.
I understand that, but police are
bad
organization. You know, they're a fraternity.
Yes,
and they. You know, they have their rules of engagement. Some, you know, are in the police manual. Some are not. You know what I mean? So they're not really.
The bad ones are the ones that are in, unfortunately.
You know, serve and protect is not really on their mind. Win and go home is. So there's a lot of problems that was happening in '89. When we did the record, and the same problems are happening today. Of course, because we did the record, police are, to me, held accountable because before the record, they wasn't. You know, you get guys on the stand, and just because the cop said you did it, everybody thought you did it.
Society is different. 1889, 1989, 2023.
Yes.
It just is.
It is.
And cops are people who come from society. So the chance that a cop would have been racist in 1989, I feel is greater than a young person who, a cop, it's basically a young man's game when they're out on the street. Okay. So a guy, he's 25, he was born in 1998. He was born in an era where about the most uncool thing you could be was a racist.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are pockets of this country, of course, where that's not true. But why would you go there? They have no good restaurants. they're you know, you just don't have to go to a holler in Appalachia.
I think it's a situation where, you know, cops, they are young, you know. Because of that, sometimes they don't know how to talk to people. They don't really know how to communicate. The young generation really don't communicate as well.
Because of the phone?
Because of the phone, because of, you know, all kind of different social reasons that they don't talk to each other. You know, they'll be sitting in the same room texting each other. So
what do you make?
Sometimes them young cops don't know how to communicate, so they go straight for the force. Right. You know, because they don't know how to talk you down. They don't know how to say, hey man, come over here, what's going on? So they don't really know how to communicate, so the force comes with that. And, you know, acting as the police different, it's like acting as the military different. You know, you might have one or two different kind of soldiers come in and out, but the basic organization is the same. It's not gonna change. You know, it's there to win and not to lose.
You mean to get home safe?
To get home safe, no matter what.
That's always been one of my big problems with the police, which they don't appreciate me saying, but I have. They have a bad attitude about how dangerous their job is and how much the priority is them not being in danger. If you want to never be in danger, be a plumber. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to be snaking a drain and you smell like shit. There is an element of danger. So when they say things like, better to be judged by 12 than carried out by 6, you've heard that?
Yeah.
That is
That was one of my rap lines too.
Yes, it was. That is the wrong attitude to have about the job of policing. You can't be like, okay, how do I solve this problem of me feeling scared now? I shoot the thing that's scaring me. That has to be cured in the police department.
Yeah.
Across lines, because
they're not gonna cure that. Because
yes, you're right. Because
they
scary.
want their partners to have that attitude. Their partner want them to have that attitude. And if each one have that attitude, this is why somebody gets shot 85 times.
So
you know what I mean? So everybody, the thing is empty your clip. Because AI is gonna ask you, why you only shoot 10 shots instead of 16 like everybody else? Did you feel like it was over? Did you stop for a reason? No, so everybody empties their clips, so everybody looked like the threat was the same for everybody. Everybody was just as scared, and now this guy is shot 51 times,
See, you know what? I've mentioned that many times on my show, the thing about shooting, everybody has to empty their clip. I never understood before you explained that why they do that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just because they were so all just jacked up.
No.
But
because
this
if
makes
you
a lot.
stop shooting at 2 shots and this guy shot 16.
I get it.
You're going to be like, well.
I remember quoting this statistic once, and this is a while ago, but maybe it was from like 2011 or something, but like the entire country of Germany, I think in that year, the police fired like 91 shots. In the entire country that used to be full of Nazis.
Yeah.
That was just like the opening salvo. You remember when the Tsarnaev guy, the kid who bombed the Boston Marathon, he was hiding in that boat?
Yeah.
And that boat was so shot up, and they missed him.
And they still missed him. Wow.
It was like a parody. The boat, every place had a bullet hole, and the kid was fine.
You look up.
Yeah. But if you were a cop, don't you think, would you feel that way? I mean, if we probably all would if we were pressed into that service.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stressful job.
Yeah. Stressful.
And it's probably not a job you should do every day.
But I bet you a lot of it is more, I think the reason people do it, it's more fun than sitting behind a desk. First of all, most people kiss your ass. Like, yes, there is danger, some danger, although they have statistics on this, and it doesn't crack the top 10.
Yeah.
Police work is less dangerous than such daredevils as fishermen, cab drivers, and people who work on telephone wires.
Damn.
So, like, it's not the most dangerous job in the world. But yes, there is danger. But you go into that. It's like a proctologist complaining, I'm looking up people's asses all day. Yes, because you decided to be a proctologist.
Exactly, bruh. And it's a thing where that might be a reason too why they get so jacked up when there's something going on. That's probably why 10 police show up, because they're so fucking bored. It's kind of like, yo, it's something going down. Let's get over there and get some of this action. Let me get a lick in. It's kind of like a team that practices but never gets a chance to play. Everybody want to get a lick at him.
It does seem like when they want to have 1 million cops in any one place, it's not that hard to do.
No.
I mean,
they all show up and they all stand around for 2 hours.
Yes, there's a lot of standing around. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, there is danger and there is sometimes disrespect, and cops do get shot. I mean, they do get assassinated. It's not a cool idea to go to work every day knowing, oh yeah, it's like turning on the light switch and there's 1 in 1,000 chance or whatever chance that I could get, that's not cool.
Yeah, but then you see, what I don't understand, you're a cop, you're frustrated, you want to kick a little ass tonight.
Right.
The kid who just went into the church and shot 9 or 10 people, put a bulletproof vest on him and protect him. But the little kid, the 18-year-old that's mouthing off at the mall, crack his eye socket. You see what I'm saying? It's like, what, like, why, what's the bullying? Like, why don't you guys give it to the ones that deserve it over just some innocent kid who's mouthing off?
Okay, this is my other complaint with the police. Too concerned with your safety over the people's safety you're pledged to protect. And also the thing about complaining about disrespect when most people give you free food and you walk around like kings everywhere. You can hit on any girl. We all know every girl has a story about cops.
Yes.
Maybe I should protect you by following you home now that I pulled you over for no reason except driving while pretty.
Yeah.
They
all that. All that.
All that.
Yeah.
But the other one is, oh shit, now I forgot because you got me.
Oh, don't worry about it, man. It's to me, it's 1,000 things we can come up with that ain't cool.
No.
But it's really about, it's about respect.
Well,
and
a society needs police.
Definitely.
We know that.
I'm not saying,
of course.
No,
you're
that all police are
No, I know.
Bad I'm just pointing out why it's no different than it was. It's the same.
How would you know? How would you know? You live in some giant palace.
I mean, everybody I know don't. So, I hear what my folks got to go through. And
what?
Well, a lot of them, they deal with the police in different kind of ways. A lot of them, some of them, they got records. So, the police is checking in on them every now and then,
right?
Fucking with them. Some of them can't go out the country because of shit. It's just different things that them going through the system has. It's not always abuse, but it's always the system really kind of churning on them and, overworking them.
I remember what my other complaint was.
What?
The police need to have a better vetting system about who gets to be a policeman. There's too many people who become policemen because they were stuffed in a locker in high school and they want to have a
I think they want those guys.
That's maybe you're right.
I think they want those guys with the chip on their shoulder.
Maybe you're right.
The guys who, ready to give society what it deserves.
Yes.
It's kind of like having a dirty player on your team.
Right.
As long as he play on your team, it's cool.
Rick Mahorn.
It's like
Charles Oakley.
Romanowski or somebody like. As long as he's on your team, it's cool.
Right.
The minute he goes to the other team, then you say, why are they letting this guy play? So, like, they all on the same team, man. They want the wolves. They don't want the chihuahuas. You know what I'm saying? They want guys who are ready to go get some. And it's to some it is a sport. It is the action. It is all about the adrenaline rush and being physical and having power. Some guys are just power freaks.
It's interesting. We're talking, I don't know, an hour ago or something about how celebrities, their mind goes cuckoo because there's too much adulation.
Mm-hmm.
You're exalted by people so you can get away with anything. It's a little like that when you're a cop because you can just basically do anything because you are the police.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Call a cop? I am a cop. That is a kind of, first of all, it's a lot of power to trust with a person. But of course, the alternative is not feasible. We do need police, but it is a lot of power. So you should pick much more carefully the kind of people who you're giving that power to. You're giving them a monopoly on violence.
I don't think they care because here's why.
You and I.
They don't. When those cops go out and do something bad, the police don't get the bill. Like the police, nothing happens to the police department. It all goes to City Hall. They have to pay it.
Right.
The police still get their money. Nobody loses a dime.
Right.
Now, if you made police get insurance, now is, do you want to be a racist or you want to keep your badge? Because if you keep getting these complaints or you keep brutalizing people and costing us money, we're going to take away your insurance, but we're taking away your badge. You out of a career. So it's the insurance company call. But the police won't do that.
But it's always an opinion.
A doctor has to get insurance. Why not a cop?
The hard part of it is because cops are engaging with borderline people as their job. They're not engaging with the people who are just going about their lives, not doing anything shady generally.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're scared, and we've covered that. They shouldn't put their safety ahead of the citizens. But that's who you deal with. I had a cop on my old show, Politically Incorrect, and he said, when I worked in the Spanish neighborhood, I hated Spanish people. When I worked in the black neighborhood, I hated black people. And when I worked in the valley, I hated white people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Yeah, because you're dealing with, people at their worst. You're dealing with people at their worst every day. I think it's not an everyday job. I think cops should go in every other day, for one.
Like basketball
Just take
players.
some stress off. Yeah, get yourself ready.
No one
for
can play 82 games a
Because you
year.
never know what that guy went through in them last 10 or 12 hours.
No.
So, but I think by not putting some kind of personal responsibility on the officers, then you lead to a George Floyd situation. This guy had, over 20 complaints. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have been on the force to be able to do that. You know what I mean? He would have been some insurance company would have been like, dude, you got one more.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You're booted.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're costing us money with these complaints.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
that I think
it doesn't go to City Hall, doesn't go to the taxpayer.
Right.
Is and guys would think twice about being excessive.
Right.
You need force.
Right.
It's the excessive force.
No, everybody wants to find that right line.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it is hard when you're a cop because you don't know until after the situation is over. Now, in the case of George Floyd, completely unnecessary because he was no threat. He's on the ground. It's just being a dick, which turned into being.
That's the problem. It's not.
No,
it's an incident went wrong.
No.
Something went bad.
It's just
a cop. Split-second decision, made the wrong decision, killed a guy. But it's the torture. It's the abuse. It's the taking it too far.
Okay, but O'Shea Jackson, I must tell you,
Senior.
The difference.
I don't want you to mistake me for my son. I know we look alike.
I should flatter you and say, why? I thought you were brothers, but plainly you're the father. Anyway, but the difference between 2023 or whenever that happened, 2020, and back in your day, writing your songs, is that back then what they would have said is, we checked the police manual and it is completely exactly as it says in the manual. You put your knee on his head until he's dead. That is what it would say.
And they would have took a bow and said good night.
He's in jail.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just acknowledge, we're not saying there's no work to be done.
But has the police changed? Did the police put him in jail?
I think when you listen to police chiefs around the country, many of whom are African American, you hear very different.
A lot of them have no power, though, or very little.
As police chief?
As police chief.
Why do you say that?
Well, it's because, for one, they're elected officials that's not really coming out this rank and file. If they come out the rank and file, they have their power. But sometimes they put these, they grab these police chiefs. Cops. They got these police chiefs and put them in place. And
you mean like William Bratton?
A lot of those guys are the last to know what their guys is doing on the street. They're just the last to know. It's kind of like it's like running your show. Sometimes when it's fucked up, somebody's like, who's gonna go tell Bill? And you're the last to know, and you're like, why y'all didn't tell me this shit 3 hours ago when I could have did something about it?
Yeah.
So I think they're caught up with the mayor and the news conferences and the fundraising and the kissing babies and
Right.
hi, I'm the mayor shit, and they don't know what the hell, they're lieutenants and they're captains and they're they kick ass.
We used to have a mayor here, Anthony
Villarodosa or some shit like that.
I feel bad. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I met him a couple times.
Forgive us, Anthony. We're both stoned. Villarodosa.
Yeah.
Villarodosa, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But this guy was like, I've never seen a guy who like put on that politician thing. I mean, it was almost like AI, and the handshake was like beyond firm.
Damn.
Like I spent 2 weeks at Cedars.
Yeah.
No, it was like this guy, and he would just, boy, some people are programmed for that job.
They love it.
He loved it.
Fucking love it. And they good at it.
And they good at it. Like Bill Clinton, they said, used to always be the last person to leave any room. If 2,000 people were there, and as they were filtering out, if he would talk to everybody who wanted to talk to him.
Damn.
Elizabeth Warren would take selfies with everybody who wanted a selfie. Like 4,000. Can you imagine taking 4,000 selfies in a row? What would you have to want that bad? For me, the answer is nothing.
Nothing. I would never be a politician.
No, you're not the
begging
type.
Too much.
And I mean that as a compliment.
Thank you.
You're not the type.
They're begging too much.
No. But what politicians do you admire? Is there anybody? I know we need an enema. We agree on that. I mean, it's going to be Biden and Trump probably because, well, who doesn't want a fresh 2024 election? I mean, what could be fresher than two 80-year-old retreads?
I'm
anybody on the horizon?
I'm about as independent as they come.
Yeah, I love that. Me too.
It's like the partisan shit. It's kind of getting us nowhere fast.
But who do you like? What do you think about Robert Kennedy?
I like Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, he was here just a week ago. And by the way, you didn't take the vaccine. You gave up money for it. I so admire that.
Thank you.
And without even having to get into vaccines, of which
my accountant doesn't admire it as much.
I'm sure my accountant. I bet your wife doesn't like it either.
I mean, my wife, she down, so she with me 100%. But
well, you also have $1 billion already, so it's not like you're driving an Uber now because you gave up $9 million. $9 million, throw it on the pile.
Well, I think everybody could use it. So, but yeah, to me.
Principles.
Hey man,
what I
felt in my heart that
yes,
this is too experimental.
It's your body.
Yes,
you don't even have to explain it. I get called an anti-vaxxer all the time. Anybody who has questions, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I should be able to make decisions about my own body. Because my body's different than yours, and my history is different than yours, and this pathogen is new. There are some vaccines I would kill to get.
It was very new. It
wasn't
a year old.
The disease wasn't that scary. And they just found out that it's almost certain now, it did come from the lab. Patient 0 was the guy who worked in the lab.
Wow.
Ben Wu.
Damn. Damn.
So I think your decision is going to look good in history.
Well, I mean, I know it looks good in my body, and I know, I know people who've had, issues after. So, yeah, I'm not anti-vax. I've been vaxxed before,
right?
But those vaccinations were studied for 50 years before they got to me, So, I just thought it was too soon.
It's a deservedly controversial topic that this country does not want to have a debate, or at least I should say the elitist types in this country who run the newspapers and so forth. They just, their position should be in the media to question authority. But in this case, they see their position as to completely line up behind it. And like Robert Kennedy has talked about in the New York Times, like this vaccine hysteric. He's not a hysteric.
No.
He's a really smart guy who knows a lot of science, and you should talk to him. I don't agree with everything he says either. And I think sometimes he's gone a little too far and put a little...
Who are you going to agree with 100%?
Exactly.
Nobody.
That's what I said to him.
Nobody. You know, you got to feel
life would be pretty dull if you did.
Yep. And we would, you know, we wouldn't love the world that we was in if you had to. So, you know, at the end of the day, he seems like a good dude who's trying to do the right thing. And you know, sometimes you gotta look through all the bullshit and try to see the person.
No,
inside.
He's got a candidacy that started out at 20%, just right off the bat. Okay, some of that, of course, is the Kennedy name, but that's not all that. It's people want this other voice in the debate, and I find it just so depressing that a lot of the media organs get away with a joint decision to let's just strangle this baby in the crib.
Yep.
Let's just say right from the beginning, as much as we can, as often as we can, from as many of our writers as we can, he is some sort of kook, he's a crank, he's a nut, he's got misinformation, as if science is just about what you know for sure. Sometimes it is, some things are settled science, but things like this are not. And so let's just label him a kook that we kill in the crib. It's just, yuck. Makes me fucking hate those kind of people.
Yeah, man, because, you know, let them debate.
Let them debate.
Let them debate. Let them get up there with an expert in the pharmaceutical fields and let them have at it. I'm pretty sure he'd welcome it.
He definitely would welcome it. And I'd want to see him against someone worthy.
Yeah.
Because he needs to answer all the... I was trying to get him to answer some things I think he's going to have to answer on the campaign trail, but I was happy to hear him say things like we said, not an anti-vaxxer. It's not like we think the vaccines are a myth or that it's a little man inside the needle. I mean, we're not crazy people. It's a medical intervention that has a spotty record sometimes. I generally believe that vaccines have done a lot of good in humanity, and including with COVID, where lots of people did need a vaccine because they are not healthy.
Yes.
And they should have gotten it, and it probably saved their lives. That's not me. Or maybe it is, but that's my judgment to make.
Without a doubt. You know, that's the freedoms we all supposed to have.
Look, you got me drunk and ranting.
Shit.
I knew it.
Hey, man, you know, but that's why we appreciate what you do, man. You know,
I appreciate
you not only, you know, I mean, you do what we supposed to do. Question everything.
Right.
Like, why not? Question everything, you know.
Well, listen, it's a fucking thrill having you here.
It's very cool.
I'm first of all just very flattered that you would do it. I know you're busy, you got a lot of stuff to do. You don't have to come over here and talk to me. There's no money in it. So I know it came from the heart. It means a lot to me.
Without a doubt, man. You know,
I appreciate
you're still one of my favorite guys on TV.
I appreciate
Always been. And I like it. You're a straight shooter.
Right.
And that's all you can ask for in this world nowadays, man.
I never sell out. August 19th, I'll be at the Ovens Auditorium in Charlotte, North Carolina. On the 28th at the Township in Columbia, South Carolina. September 1st, ACL Live at the Moody Trust in Austin, Texas. And September 2nd in Grand Prairie, that's between Dallas and Fort Worth, I believe. They're at the Texas Trust CU Theater. Also have a pot store, The Woods, with Woody Harrelson, who won that argument because of you, Mr. Ice Cube.
Hey, man,
God
you know,
damn it.
Woody knows how to ball.
He does.
And you know.
He does.
I appreciate the blunt.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
Oh,
very smooth.
I'll send you a case.
Oh, man, I would love that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, happy to do it.
I'll take
those. Are cool. No.
Yeah,
my friend Boris makes those. That is very personally made with a beautiful... all those cost $6, so I'd appreciate it if you would return them for a deposit.
Okay, no problem. Like I used to do the bottles back in the day.
Club.
Very cool, man.
I
Good to
appreciate
see you,
it. That
dude.
was so much fucking fun.
Yeah, anytime, man.
All right.
Anytime.